Claudine Gay at Harvard University out there kind of just, well, I can't say the word. Well, can I say this? Pussyfooting around the whole ordeal, right? Like, you know, she's got her students with their protesting movement, the letter that they came out with, which was really, frankly, just pretty disgusting, blaming the rape, the murder, the decapitations, the burning people alive, blaming that on Israel itself. These are the students at Harvard. Well, you know what? The donors to Harvard, thank goodness, are speaking up, and they're not having any part of it. Here is one major donor. You're looking at there on the screen, Ofar. He's actually the richest man in Israel, and he's pulling his money, as is his wife, out of the Kennedy School of Government that they were donating to because they were on the board of. Good for them. And then there's Leslie Wexner, a very, very famous billionaire, and his wife, Abigail. The Wexner Foundation is just furious, and they are breaking off their ties with Harvard University. The famed hedge fund manager, Bill Ackman, who runs Pershing Square, he's pulling his money out of Harvard. I mean, people are like, sorry, no can do. This is not going to work. And yet Claudine Gay, by the way, John Huntsman, I should point that one out too. John Huntsman, the Huntsman family, a very, very wealthy family. You may remember Abby Huntsman. She was on Fox with me. They're pulling their money. They're like, okay, no more donations, because this Claudine Gay, who I went to high school with, just doesn't have a clue. Let's listen to the clueless Claudine Gay, now president of Harvard University, speaking about how they just have to accept all sides. Let me tell you, this woman is just a mealy-mouthed, milquetoast nothing. Watch.
Our university embraces a commitment to free expression. That commitment extends even to views that many of us find objectionable, even outrageous. We do not punish or sanction people for expressing such views, but that is a far cry for endorsing them. It's in the exercise of our freedom to speak that we reveal our characters, and we reveal the character of our institution. We can issue public pronouncements declaring the rightness of our own points of view and vilify those who disagree, or we can choose to talk and to listen with care and humility, to seek deeper understanding, and to meet one another with compassion. We can inflame and...
Okay, I just got to stop her, because we got to like jump in and say something here. Some of you saying in the live chat that Harvard should lose its public funding. It absolutely should. Just think about this. Your taxpayer dollars, ladies and gentlemen, are going to this. Now, do you think this was the reaction after the George Floyd thing? I mean, let's just compare and contrast. If one even can for just one moment. I mean, you can't, right? Because 1,400 innocent people are dead in Israel. Hundreds of people have been taken hostage. They're now in Gaza awaiting a very bad fate. There is no comparison. But let's just think about how Harvard reacted after the whole George Floyd thing, or any of these universities, right? It was all about Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Now, if you can't see that the lack of sensitivity over what just happened in Israel, while they simultaneously were willing to just Black Lives Matter, you know, that was the only game in town, right? After George Floyd. I mean, this then is kind of the equivalent of having some kind of white supremacy rally after George Floyd. Where is your sensitivity, Chip Claudine? Let me tell you, yeah, she did go to high school with me. I don't remember her at all. Literally, not at all. But she was a senior, I guess, when I was a freshman. And so I did a little research. Apparently, she grew up in Saudi Arabia. So she grew up in Saudi Arabia and went to some fancy schmancy schools, including this boarding school, which was a wonderful, wonderful school where they actually did encourage, back when they encouraged, you know, you can't do it nowadays, they encouraged freedom of speech, or did, I should say. So in essence, the idea that, yes, is quite good. And you know me, I'm all about the First Amendment. But let me just tell you, I don't think she is. And I don't think Harvard is. And I think if people were issuing statements such as the one that we saw from 30 different Harvard groups after the whole thing in Israel, after that horrible, barbaric terror attack, then you know what? That would be a problem. That would absolutely be a problem. But when the tables are turned, oh, it doesn't matter because there's something else going on here. Think about it. It's, oh, well, you're oppressed. You know, if you're black or brown, you are oppressed. And we need to do everything we can to help you. And it must be the white person, or in this case, the Israelis, that are oppressing you. And that is the situation where we'll listen to the rest of her for the sake of her argument. She gets about 1:45 here. So let's listen to what else Ms. Claudine Gay has to say from Harvard University. Gosh, I miss Larry Summers.
Already volatile situation on our campus, or we can focus our attention where it belongs, on the unfolding tragedy thousands of miles away. We can ask ourselves how, as human beings, we can be helpful to people who are desperately trying to protect themselves and their families, people who are fighting to survive. How we go forward as a community is up to each of us. I've spent most of my career at this institution. I have seen the people of Harvard come together despite their differences. I know that we are capable of meeting this moment and meeting one another with grace.
Wow. So is that how Harvard would have been? Like, you know, when 6 million Jews were being slaughtered by Hitler? I mean, I guess, you know, if you actually think about it, some of those institutions were indeed very racist and very anti-Semitic way back then. And they certainly sound very anti-Semitic way back now. In the here and now, look at what's going on there over at UPenn, and Mark Rowan, who runs Apollo, another billionaire, big donor, is telling Scott Bach, hey, buddy, you're out. This is the head of the board of trustees, because the board of trustees, Scott Bach, who's an investment banker at Greenhill, he was trying to kind of say, hey, you know, Mark, are you okay? Because we're going to have this like Palestinian literature night. This was actually days before this whole thing happened. I'll tell you, look, these universities have a problem. And I have said this from the beginning. They have their heads up there. You know what? They think the world is some kind of panacea. They don't understand what's in the charter of Hamas: to kill Israel and to kill all Israelis and to kill Jews. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.